Good morning, everyone, and thanks that you are joining this webcast. This is the first of our series of specialized webcasts focused on mobile for the enterprise. The subject for today is Be fast and agile in your mobile conversation and adapt to your audience. We will have a second webcast on the 15th of September, and that subject will be Mobilize your enterprise and deliver engaging mobile apps using reusable API services. In this webcast, we will focus more on the technical aspects for a mobile solution and strategy. As part of our policy, we are showing you now our safe harbor statement. Please take your time to read this statement, which is shown to you now. My name is René de Boer. I'm working for Oracle Benelux and I will be your host for this webcast. For the last 8 years, I've been working in Oracle in different sales roles and in each role supporting customers on their journeys to the cloud and on digital transformation. I'm currently heading up the business development team for Iberia and Benelux for mobile, and in my role supporting our customers in their journey into mobile and cloud. During the webcast, you are able to ask questions through our webcast platform. At the end of the webcast, we will then go through all of your questions. I'd like to welcome our speakers for today at the stage, Martin Cookson and Ian Wallace from the EMEA Business Development Team for Mobile. Martin Cookson and Ian Wallace will share their insights on the mobile developments and the solutions that Oracle has to offer to support your mobile strategies. Both Martin and Ian are experienced mobile leaders that share a lot of knowledge on mobile. Martin and Ian, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thanks, René. I'm Martin Cookson, and I'm the Business Development Director for Mobile in Oracle in the EMEA region. And I'm here together with Ian Wallace, who is also a Mobile Business Development Director in Oracle. We have the kind of superb privilege of being working in this kind of fast-moving, developing enterprise mobility industry. And we work with customers across the region and across the industries, and we see a whole solution of exciting mobile solutions. Ian, I don't know if you agree that this is probably the most exciting space in mobile technology at the moment.
Hi, Martin, and yes, good morning to everyone on the webcast. The pace of innovation that we're seeing with our customers and partners and what they're achieving is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, and for me, it's in the mobile industry, it's this great blend that we've got from the creativity from the iOS vendors, Apple, Google, and Samsung, the role that we play in providing our platforms, and the superb creativity and app designers and developers provide as well. And it's just really a great place to be.
And for me too, I think the way that enterprise mobility is continuing to evolve is phenomenal. We're seeing new business models. There's new ways of working. We're seeing fashion drive all sorts of interesting trends within mobility. This incredible sort of pace of change in the way that people are working and socializing. We see that by 2020, 80% of human beings are going to have smartphones. Think about that globally. 80% of human beings are going to have smartphones, and that the average number of views of a smartphone a day is something like 150 times a day. So, just the amount of activity happening on this mobile channel is phenomenal.
Yes. So what we're going to do in this webcast over the next hour is we're going to kind of share with you our observations of people working with the Oracle mobile platform, and we'll share with you where we can the customers are actually doing this. What we'll do is to show you the use cases and where we can give you an idea of the sorts of apps that they've built, both for their customers and for their employees.
Yeah, and Martin, what we'll also do is talk a bit about how Oracle is supporting our customers in their ambitions. And what we'll also do is have a look at the latest technology trends, some of the futures, and how enterprise mobility is taking sort of the next twist and turn.
So Ian, from working with our customers, and of course using mobile ourselves, I think we can recognize some common universal themes. These key themes, I think, both reflect current trends in good app design, but also serve to help steer our customers, to help build and delight their end users.
Yeah, so let me jump in here because the ultimate goal of mobility is to deliver convenience and fantastic user experience. So the customer is always king, And it's all about delivering this, really engaging and rewarding experience, and we should be letting the user, whether they're a customer or an employee, but let this user achieve their daily tasks as efficiently and enjoyably as possible. And this comes down to using as much of the device capabilities as possible, having a great UI, user experience, having a responsive mobile application, avoiding sort of tedious or repetitive or unnecessary actions, and making the application as intuitive and easy to use as possible. No one has ever had to read an instruction manual to use Facebook or Pokemon Go, and likewise, if I want to submit an expense through the mobile application, I shouldn't have to do that either.
Yeah, and Lorraine, there's just so many of these apps. I mean, analysts are predicting over the next 3 years that we're likely to see average of hundreds of mobile apps per enterprise. I kind of like the phrase from Overland. We talk about hero apps, the apps that you share out to your customers, but then there are the soldier apps. These are about improving the execution of simple enterprise tasks like booking a car parking space, which we'll do with mobile apps. Now, the volume of these will mean that any enterprise wouldn't have the IT resources to them all. So we see the rise of citizen development, allowing people fueled by rapid mobile app development tools to allow people who are non-developers so they can build simple, effective mobile apps. It's a key thing, citizen development.
Yeah, and the pace of change by which these mobile applications are going through is phenomenal. There's a huge number of iterations needed. We're seeing customers having to release their consumer app, now down to like a 2-weekly cycle of getting a new version out. And these mobile apps, once they're done, they're never completed. You have to keep moving ahead, making sure that you're using the latest device technology features, but also matching what, is an evolving expectation from the user.
Yeah. And it's not just about devices as simple screens. What we're seeing is bringing in mobile context to deliver better experience. So in addition to the device, it's the network of wearables like your watch and nearables. And a great example of nearables are beacons, be it iBeacons or Eddystone beacons. It's about allowing to use things like Bluetooth so that we know not just what users are doing, but where they are, what they are near, and what they are interacting with. So using that mobile context, we can bring some great examples, and we'll show some of these later on.
Yeah, I think, the use of beacons, and I think the use of Bluetooth is just going to change dramatically. Apple having removed the headphone jack and launching AirPods, I think is going to change the whole usage of Bluetooth dramatically. And, beyond that, I think that we're seeing a really big growth in importance of things like mobile chat, specifically with millennials and sort of digital natives. And I think the users are expecting to be able to talk and message in their preferred mode. And we know that millennials very much prefer to use chat and the messaging apps. And so we'll start to see this arise within every organization. So mobile is really part of all aspects of an enterprise interaction with their users. Sort of in Oracle, we support our customers in how they're modernizing the employee experience. This has been driven by a level of IT consumerization, but our customers are also seeing a huge opportunity for more effective, informed, and motivated staff. Our customers also have a mobile channel with their own customers and end users and partners. And through this, they provide a modern and engaging interaction over the digital channel. So, Martin, let's share some examples that we've seen in these two overlapping spaces, shall we?
So Ian, yeah, let me get started then and start to share some of the experience we've seen. I'm going to start with one of our customers in United Arab Emirates. This is AW Rostamani. This is a long-term Oracle friend, but they are doing some fantastic things with our mobile platform. AWR, they have the Nissan dealership in UAE, a big and a successful business. And they've now got effectively 9 mobile apps that take their customers and their employees through the whole relationship of buying, selling, and servicing the Nissan cars. And it's a superb experience that they can do. This is a real example of innovation of speed that I know the CIO has shared their vision of doing digital capabilities. So let me show you some examples of just some of those 9 mobile apps. I don't know about you, but when you take your car to the garage to drop it off, you put it into the car lot, you take your keys inside and you drop them off, and you have this kind of nagging wonder about how the mechanic will actually find that car. Well, AWR have an answer for that. They've used the Oracle mobile platform. They use a Samsung tablet piece, and what they do is they take the Samsung tablet outside. You can see this on the screen. They hold it up, and then augmented reality will pick out the car of the car lot, so they can quickly and easily find that car. You know, a simple solution to a common problem. They have all the information from that customer in terms of what needs to be done or when that car was dropped off, so they know what's being repaired. So any one of the mechanics is very quickly able to get on and diagnose that the fault and fix and deliver great service to the customers. Just a few other examples. As I said, there's 9 mobile apps in total. But the other thing that can do is that part of this innovation of speed is that the customers throughout the day, in having dropped up the car, they're completely informed about what's happened to the car. So they know when the car is on the ramp, they know the car is being fixed, and they know when the car is ready, having been nicely washed, to be delivered back to the customer. And then at the very end of that process, when the car is picked up, anybody in the AWR garage using the mobile device, either on the tablet or a smartphone, is able to be able to tell the customer what's been done to the car, what's been fixed, any additional work, obviously the price of that service. So here's a great example made about the whole relationship with the customer and employees is being made better by using enterprise mobility with Oracle.
So Martin, that was a great example of a customer using the mobile channel to really deliver out some fantastic applications on top of their e-business suite solution. I'll give you another example of an e-business suite customer, Ceragon, who are a major high-tech manufacturer, and you know, their challenge was to just allow salespeople to become a little bit more efficient in the field, and so they decided to expose a mobile expenses capability to all of their sales force. You know, some of the benefits that they got out of this application were, and you know, things like a 20% improvement in time to submit an expense. Because you can do it while you're, you know, you get out a taxi, you take a photo of that receipt, and you can immediately add it to your expense report. So you can do so an improvement in the time to submit, but also an improvement in the time to actually get paid, because we're not waiting for people to post in or scan in expense receipts. They can immediately take stuff using the camera. So an improvement in people getting time for people to get paid. And lastly, an improvement in the time that the adherence to the corporate travel policy, because the expense solution was so convenient to use that people prefer to use approved vendors for travel. So all in all, lots of advantages coming out of this use case. Look, I'm following on from that example. I want to talk to you about a fantastic mobile program that we've worked on with the NHS, with the Imperial College Healthcare NHS Trust in London. They've got 5 hospitals in London, and you know, because they're associated or affiliated with Imperial College London, which is a university in London, they they've got a lot of research teams as well as doctors and all of the medical staff. And the doctors have access to these research teams. And one of the challenges they found was that a certain doctor had joined the healthcare trust and decided that he would build a mobile application for clinical procedures. So these are the sort of the steps you take to, apply an intravenous injection, or, maybe sort of deal with a dislocated shoulder, whatever the steps are for that specific medical procedure. And developed this mobile application. And funnily enough, actually 99% of all doctors in the UK have an iPhone. So it was a single platform application, but it was downloaded about 250 times by the staff, and the staff loved it, and they could easily follow the steps to follow a specific procedure. When it came time to make changes to this application, this doctor had actually left the trust, and the team couldn't make the changes they wanted to the application, and so they realized that they needed to better support their staff in allowing them to build their own mobile applications. So we started on a fantastic program of exposing the patient and hospital services out onto the mobile channel, and we're looking at things like being able to access patient records, being able to look at lab results and imaging results, being able to escalate tasks to hospital managers and back into doctors and nurses, the ability to even to prescribe the right type of antibiotic, or even verify whether an antibiotic needs to be applied or not. So a great example of a forward-thinking organization allowing their staff to build applications that they think are useful.
So Yassine, I'm going to pick up that theme of citizen development and do a live demonstration now. So not only have we seen the fact that there's lots of apps to be developed, but as we saw with NH Trust, there are people now with creativity that want to express that in building their mobile apps. So using the Oracle Mobile Application Accelerator tool, MAX for short, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now how we can build a mobile app right in front of your eyes. So I'll move over to another screen and I'll show you that now. So I'm already inside Mobile Cloud Service, and I'm now going to build, using Mobile Application Accelerator, a new application. So I'll click in New Application. And the first thing I do is I want to name the application. So what I'm going to build in this little demonstration, I'm going to build a field service app, and I'm going to call it Fix It Fast. I've already selected the logo I'm going to use for the app on the device. And then you can see here I've got a choice of selections, so it's quite straightforward. I've got a whole range of ones I can use. In this case, I'm going to go for this screen title here, which gives me 2 tabs, and what I want to do is have database, then maybe some more details as well. Okay, so let's give a name to the first screen, which I'll call Incidents, and I'll have another tab here, which I will call Dashboard, and I'm going to define a bit more detail, but I probably won't, given the time here, actually spend the time actually defining. I'll put the detailed screen down there as well. If I wanted to, I could have some more information, so maybe I could have a start screen, but I'll keep it 2 for now. Okay, go to the next screen. So then I'm going to choose the format of the first screen. Again, I could actually choose a custom option and define a template, which a customer could do. I could have a list. In this case, I want to go for this kind of dashboard screen because it's in keeping with my field service vision that I'm going for. Okay, so I've now actually done the high-level review and create of what I'm doing. I can now press create and then move into the visualizer. Okay. Okay, so it brings up the visualizer, and this is what you see is what you get, so you can actually see that. And if I show here, it's going to produce an app that will work on iOS or Android, so I can change it also for landscape or portrait. I can move to Android, but I think I'll stick with iOS and I'll make it a little bigger, just so we can all see what I'm actually going to do. On the left-hand side, I've got the templates of the components I can use to build. They're all very easy to understand. And on the right side, it can be the property inspector for doing that as well. Okay, so let's get on with designing it out. Now, it's all done with tiles, very straightforward. So I'll come to this first tile. And what I want to do is to put on the dashboard the high-level statistics for the number of instances that the particular engineer has dealt with. So I'll make that all the way across like that, and I'll choose 3 layouts because I want to show the high, the medium, and the average statistics as well. Okay, let's give that a title. I'll call it statistics. I'll call it. Okay, like that. Okay, and then what? Now to put things here, I can come over to the components, choose a relevant component. In this case, I'm going to take a metric and literally drag and drop onto the particular case. Okay, now I don't want to quickly do the piece, so I'll stick that like that, and I'll do that 3 times. Okay, to give me my 3 statistics. Okay, let's go back to the first one and let's do some properties of that. So I might make that one red as quick as I can, make that high, come to the middle one and make that medium, green. I'll call medium, please. And lastly, I'll make that maybe an orange, and I'll call that low. Okay, so there's the statistics. Okay, and I'm starting to happy with the way that looks out there. Now I want to add another title down below, so let's create a new piece here. This time I want to make it full screen, full size, make it 2 by 2 here. And what I want to do here is show the average statistics going on for the engineer. So I can choose again different charts. I like that line chart, so I can drop the line chart in there. And have a look at the properties here. I will I'll just give it a title. Let's give it a title. I'll call that average performance, and I'll place that in the middle. Okay, like that. Okay. Let's go back to here, title. Actually, I don't need a title. I've already got a title for the chart. I will take that chart off there. Okay, and if I go to the type of performance like that on top, okay, I'll go back a bit here, and I think I'll have some triangles as the points. So I'm pretty reasonably happy with that. Now you can go on with more time, you can spend more time, as I say, without having to be a developer and actually format it. But it doesn't do anything so far, it's simply UI. Let's come back to the statistics here. Let's actually connect that to the capability. So we'll click the data button, and then this is a key part here, and I'm going to connect into this API catalog in the mobile cloud service. Now I've got a range of things I can actually choose. In this case, I've got these catalog predefined called Fix It Fast. Okay, I use that. Okay, and then it gives me the business objects I can use. I will choose instance statistics. Okay, and then this is as complicated. This is citizen development. This is as complicated as it ever gets. I can take the high value, and I'll drop that into the component to map that across there. And then straight away get a live data preview of what this is going to look like. And there you go, live data preview, that's what it will look like when I actually do this. Click the next, and I want to filter this based on for the username. So I'll pick the username and put there over there across. Okay, then finish this off, and straight away I'm actually connecting there as well. Just for completeness, I'll quickly do the same thing again. In this case, I don't have to reconnect to the catalog because I'm already there. So I could go down to instance statistics, and same again. In this case, I will take the medium for the normal value, and next, again, application username. Very quickly repeat this, Okay, and then let's do the last one, just so that we can see it all working. Incident statistics. In this case, last one I'm going to do is low. Next, application user, and finish. Okay. Now what I would do is that I can carry on. I would do the same thing when connecting the data in the chart and carry on doing the details. But for the time being here, let's say that's sufficiently working. I'm now working, and I want to build my mobile app. So I come to here, I click publish, and what it will now do is actually build the mobile app. So off it's gone. It's actually producing a Jet mobile app, which will work on iOS and Android. In fact, it's already done it. And at this point, it will actually bring up my QR code. Okay, so that's the QR code for me then to download my mobile app. What I can then do is get my mobile phone and scan that QR code to download the app directly into my mobile device. Okay, so I then transferred over to my mobile device and I launch the Max app on the device. I can press the plus button in order to add the app we've just created into the piece. I come over to the QR code, it captures the QR code and then it then downloads them. And then log in with the user credentials, which is this, which is defined separately in Mobile Cloud Service. And then sign into the app. And there you see, the app is then now working, downloading the first time, reconnecting to the back end, and you see live data. Now we didn't actually define the connecting the graph, so we don't see the graph here. But you see very quickly, within about 4 or 5 minutes, we've got our basic so that was Max. So let's get back into the theme of exploring the customer examples that we've seen with the Oracle Mobile Platform, but now potentially we'll look more at examples of apps developed for customers.
So great demo, Martin. So let me take you forward now and look at how we're working with Manchester Airports Group in the business to consumer space, and what we're doing in this area. So just as background, Manchester Airport Group, they serve about 42 million passengers every year, and they've turned to Oracle to help improve the sort of what they call the future passenger experience through their 4 airports. So what they're basically trying to do is use the capabilities of the device to create a communication channel on the day of travel. So one of the challenges that Manchester Airport face is that 2 weeks ahead of schedule, before as a passenger, before I leave for to fly out, I'll receive an email from Manchester Airport saying, that would you like to book would you like to book a car parking, or would you like to book a fast track pass through the airport? Now, and that's all great and well, but on the day of travel itself, they had no way of interacting with the customer. They could send an email, but the likelihood is that passengers, whilst they're moving, are less likely to pick up on these types of communications. So what they did in conjunction with Oracle and with 2 of our partners, with Mosquito, who are a digital agency, and with Estimote, who are a sort of technology provider in the beacons and proximity space. So they basically put beacons around their airport and created a new mobile application which allowed them to do contextual proximity marketing and information services. So, for example, as I walk into the check-in hall, I have to queue up to check in if I've got baggage to check in. Now, if I spend more than 30 minutes in the check-in hall, I'll receive an offer for a fast track, so that I don't need to wait in the security queues. I can go straight through. Whilst I get near security, I'll receive a notification saying that that I need to take liquids and gels out of my bag. Be amazed at how many people forget. It's something like 20% of all passengers need to have their bags checked by the security staff because they forget. So little things to try and prompt people to do the right thing and to reduce queuing. Once I'm through security, for example, I can then receive an offer for a World Duty Free because I'm going to walk through there, and then depending on the time of day, once I've left duty free, I'll then receive either an offer for a food and beverage offer to go upstairs to eat something in one of the restaurants or bars, or if it's a quiet time during the airport day when there's not many passengers, I could receive an airport escape lounge offer that's like a VIP lounge, and what they don't want to do is offer that all the time. They only want to offer it when the escape lounge is quiet, when the business travels are all out of the way. So the ability to also do these sort of location-based but time-based offers. And then lastly, before you then fly out, to get you to fill out a very simple survey, a happy face, smiley face survey, just to give them an indication as to what your experience was like. And this sort of establishes not only a vehicle for marketing to be able to promote certain things, but also for customers to provide feedback and to prompt customers as to what to do. So let me show you an example of how this works. So here you can see the Manchester Airport mobile application, and as let's assume that we're in the check-in hall, and as the user walks into check-in, we can then identify that they are there, and we can start measuring the amount of time that they're in the check-in hall. After 30 minutes, a push notification will be sent onto the device, basically saying, look, would you like to skip the security queue? And the user can obviously ignore that or reject it, but if they accept that push notification and want to have a look at it, it will open up the application and provide them with this fast track offer. Now they can dismiss it or they can save it because obviously they may want to save it for later. Now, or they can just click on the link and go through and pay for the fast track there and then speed through security. So it's an example of our ability to do this location-based offers and measuring customer linger time and being able to do contextual activity, not only as to who the user is, but where they are and which specific location they're in.
So let's look at another example of how we can serve customers better using mobile. Now, the example here I'm going to look is in a banking space. Now, I can't reveal the name of the customer, but in this case, the customer actually came to us. They already have, like most big banks, a mobile website where they provide the ability to do normal banking transactions. And in order to help the customers, they provide a chat function so that you can pop up and start to chat within the website within an agent. Now, what the bank revealed to us is the reality is that 70% of their customers, like all of us, actually prefer to do their mobile banking on the mobile app. So they wanted to offer that same capability that they have in the website on the banking app. So what we did is put a solution together which provides the ability to do that chat, but in this case we need to do it over the air interface. And there's some capabilities and characteristics of the air interface, not least that you tend to disconnect and you don't have quite the same bandwidth, which made it slightly more challenging. But nonetheless, what we actually provided is a facility whereas you can click on a button and bring up a chat capability and then to actually talk to the agent within the mobile app to get help within a particular feature that you're trying to actually get support for example, checking for a loan. But the mobile platform actually provides richer capabilities. So, for example, you can actually look at your search history. Or, for example, say that the customer actually gets out of contact, either wireless or 3G, then they then receive a push notification of the agent informing them that the conversation has dropped out, and would they like to reconnect to actually carry on the conversation that they've done. So the bank is able to then provide the chat capability, extending it from the web channel into the mobile channel, through omni-channel delivery, but then is able to get a richer platform. They can extend and add additional capabilities like chat history, or being able to share collaboration documents around contracts or details of loans with the customer. So again, the mobile device bringing in a chat capability, which our millennials will increasingly prefer to use, provides a better experience for the bank to serve their customers. So now we've looked at some existing and current examples of mobile solutions. Now let's look forward and actually think about what new trends. So Ian, what's the new trends that you see going forward in enterprise mobility?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest trends that we're seeing is the rise of this generation that have, always had the internet and are very digitally native. And we tend to, term them as millennials. And, one thing that's for sure is that they don't use email, and that they spend a lot of their time on the messaging apps. So whether it's Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, WeChat in China, or Kik in the US, and from a more enterprisey perspective, these guys are sort of collaborating over Slack or HipChat or one of these other messaging tools, and not to forget all of the Snapchats and Instagrams as well. So the big trend is that we're seeing this huge movement of usage into these messaging applications, and it reminds me of a quote from the CEO of Royal Bank of Scotland a while back, and he basically said that his busiest bank branch was the train from Reading to Paddington at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so his message there was that usage was really happening on the mobile device, and the ability to bring mobile chat onto the mobile device is really key to support that level of usage. Something like 70 to 80% of banking transactions now happening over the mobile channel. But following on from that trend, we're now seeing this huge amount of usage moving on to the messaging apps. So I'll take a quick look at how we can support brands on this new channel. So here we see an example of how a brand can start interacting with their customers over the messaging channel. The messaging applications are now starting to provide the ability to create QR codes, personalized QR codes. So, I have my own personal Facebook Messenger QR code. Similarly, I have my own Snapchat QR code. And, this all really started with Kik, who begun with their own, what they call Kik codes. And what it allows is for the brand to create their QR code with their branding, and this QR code can appear on statements, it can appear on marketing materials, it can appear on ads, and I scan it with my phone. So I use the camera. Within the messaging app, I'll have the ability to use the camera to scan that QR code and become a buddy with the brand. And at that point, I can start to interact and chat. And that will allow me to, for example, in this case, it's an example of a telecommunications company, and I can query my balance. I can do maybe a mobile top-up. I can, maybe do some form of, query about upgrade cycle or whatever it is, my plan. And but we see this capability evolving because the messaging applications allow for the introduction of buttons within the experience. So I can start to prompt the user as to what they should reply to. And instead of having a human being behind this chat, we can then start to put chatbots or with automated responses, because 80% of the conversations are going to be quite repetitive and quite common. Doing a top-up is going to be quite a common thing with your mobile operator. So do you really need to have a human being behind the scenes in a call center to handle that? No, you don't. So Oracle is going to basically be supporting our customers with the ability to set up their own chatbots interfacing into the major messaging apps, which is a phenomenal opportunity to expand the customer interaction into this younger generation who spend all of their time in this channel. So Martin, what big trend do you see happening in enterprise mobility going forward?
Yeah, well, actually, what Oracle's going to do is that we're going to carry on a direction we've already kind of started, but we actually think is massively undervalued at the moment. And this is the area of mobile analytics. Because that mobile device is a personalized device, it's a rich environment with things like accelerometers, Bluetooth, detecting location and speed and your personal choices. The value of mobile data is just immense. Now, in particular, what we're going to look at here is the mobile data and how it can drive into predictive analytics. So let's just kind of step back a little bit because, you know, for people like Oracle are driving a huge portfolio of analytic solutions. So we have classic business intelligence analytics, things which are in data warehouses, but that generally allows you to tell you, you know, a fantastic tool as it is, what has happened in the past. What we're increasingly seeing with things like Internet of Things is a more real-time approach, and what that allows you to do is tell you what's happening now. But where we're going next, by consuming and pulling in data, not just from the mobile channel, but also from the web channel, and as Ian has just discussed, increasingly from the chatbot channel as well, is being able to pull in data that allows you to try and have a prediction of what might happen in the future. So what do we mean by these sorts of things? Well, by providing a solution and a platform that can pull in any type of event, be it your behavior in terms of using an app, in terms of a failure, or a selection of an offer, we can then actually use tools, and these tools are not for data scientists, they are for our business owners to actually then predict on what might happen. So let me give you some examples. Now, take the example you saw before with Manchester Airport Group, where you're doing things like you're giving people an offer. So what you could do is create a kind of funnel that says, of the people that received an offer, how many people then actually opened the offer? Of the people who then opened the offer, how many people actually executed that offer? And of the people that executed the offer, how many people actually then used it? By starting to understand that sort of example of a funnel, you can start to predict the success and the feedback of how you can improve that app. Let's take another example. Imagine you're working in clinical trials, and you're working with a clinical trials drug with something to do with asthma. You could combine and look at things like cohort analysis. So, for example, you could say, yes, I saw my patient reporting an asthma attack in the daily diary within the mobile app, but then combine that with location information. Where was the patient when that actually happened and what time did it happen? And then you can combine that information together, for example, with weather data to say, in actual fact, the pollen counts in that place when the asthma attack happened can be combined together, and we can make assumptions or understand that the actual asthma attack related to that case. And then lastly, within a retail environment, you know, as we see here, the lady actually doing late night shopping, we can start to look at combination of cohort events of things that happen in different places. For example, abandonment of a basket with a failure to actually get the right dress size would actually say we could predict that we could get a better offer and acceptance of or actual conversion into a sale by understanding this capability. Now, for Oracle, the direction this will be realized within a future platform is what's called an insight and engagement cloud service, where we'll really try to unlock this huge amounts of value within our data. Okay, so from all these examples, from how we serve customers and serve employees with mobile, one of the things we keep and believe here is a need for having a mobile platform. In Oracle's case, this is delivered on the cloud using the Oracle Mobile Cloud Service. This provides a facility to support both mobile app developers in developing those great apps, developing user convenience, providing the service developers the means to connect back, for example, your expenses app, and also provides the business to provide what I showed before, to start to provide the analytics. Now, the real value of what we see with the platform here is, rather than having to kind of build all this functionality time and time and time again, well, the Oracle Mobile Cloud Service is it provides pre-built many of the functions you've seen across the customer examples that we've shown today. So, for example, like push notifications with Manchester Airport Group and location management, being able to store expenses that we saw with the expenses app, being able to actually look at and connect to data, being able to understand the analytics that they can be done. So the Mobile Cloud Service is Oracle's solution, which is using all the examples that we've seen today. And one of the magic or the key things here is we're really open. So you can use the tools that you prefer for developing the apps, be it people like Xamarin or Sencha, or indeed natively with iOS, Android, or you can use the extensive toolkits that Oracle also provides with things like Java development or JavaScript development. So this is the platform that we would recommend to you for actually how you can do similar examples that we've taken you through today.
And Martin, let me re-emphasize then, some of the advantages that we can extract out of Oracle's Mobile Cloud Service. We touched upon at the beginning some of these trends around, citizen development and the need to do things, innovation at pace, and it was all about the users. So, with Oracle's Mobile Cloud Service, we really provide a tool that can simplify how organizations deliver on their mobile channel, so produce mobile applications and ensure that they are done in a simple way, integrated into all of the back-end services that they've got, but also in a very secure fashion. Secondly, they can innovate at speed in a sort of very agile and DevOpsy way, which enables the IT team to keep pace with the business demands that are going on, and changes IT from being an organization viewed as being slow and blocking things to being an enabler of change within the organization. Thirdly, we can help significantly reduce the cost and risk of connecting these mobile applications into the enterprise data centers using this type of capability, and ensure that there's the reuse that we can extract out of the platform in terms of common services, so you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel every time you want to commission a new application. And lastly, this ability to create these personalized and contextual experiences that measuring and analyzing what's going on the mobile channel, and providing contextual information, and really understanding what the user wants to do, and driving this return on investment benefit out of the mobile channel.
This concludes our webcast for today. For more information on the Oracle mobile platform, please check cloud.oracle.com/mobile and our YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, we have more than 75 videos available for you with a number of use cases and examples. If you need additional information or want to discuss an opportunity in your organization or at your customer, please contact me directly at rene.de.boer@oracle.com. Furthermore, we have numerous partners available for you that can help you in your mobile strategy. So let's start now with the Q&A session and discuss the questions that have come to us through the web chat. And over to you, Martin and Ian, for the Q&A session.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ian and Martin, for the excellent webcast. Now it's time to go to the Q&A session. For all the attendees on this webcast, if you have a question, please use the chat module at the bottom of the screen, where you can all raise your questions. We already have a few questions coming in. And I will start off with the first question now. That's from Richard. Richard is asking his question on Macs. Can Macs be used for business apps, and what are the limits for a citizen developer? Ian Martin, can you take this question?
Yes, perhaps Rennie, I'll take that question as I did the Macs demo. So again, what's the limits? Well, to be clear, there's a certain scope which citizen development and Macs is intended for. We can do fairly comprehensive UI integrations at the moment. So I would say, I made this comment through my presentation that I talked about hero apps and soldier apps. So anywhere where you're looking at capture of data, inspection of data, accessing back information, you can use with Macs. Just to show what you probably can't do at the moment, you probably can't do augmented reality at the moment, but it's more for those business apps where you want to kind of read them back and write data. What we're finding is that it's a relatively new tool for us. We've had this about 3 months now, but we're actually getting quite impressed by the imagination that customers are doing by coming up with answers. What will happen as we get more functionality, more releases, it will become a richer and richer tool. Now, the other thing to say about Macs is that even if you're not going to build your full B2C, your customer-facing mobile app with, what we've done with other customers is maybe the marketing team actually use it to kind of prototype a first example to actually express the ideas that they have, and they can obviously do that within hours rather than days and weeks. And then once they've got with Macs to a certain level, they might want to hand that over to the development team and build it completely natively or whatever. So it's both for tackling a large bulk of the simpler apps, but maybe also for prototyping bigger apps as well. Renee, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Some related questions just from Alessandro. That's on the citizen developer. What skills do citizen developers need, and also who are the citizen developers? Ian, Martin?
Well, perhaps I'll have a go at that one again, and I'll give Ian a go in the next one. Well, I'm not a developer, and I can use it. I will say that. Typically where we pitch this is just to give a level. Obviously, this is not hard concrete, but the sort of skill level is if you can do an Excel pivot table, then that's a sort of level. Slightly, more involved ability to use tools. You don't really need to understand variables or things like that. But let's be realistic. A lot of senior business people probably don't even write their own PowerPoint. So it's more for the sort of people who've got the skills to use sort of basic desktop tools, and can I've got the time to actually do that kind of creativity part. Ian, if you've got an additional view on that, I'll welcome it. But yeah.
No, I think that any sort of line of business user who wants to create forms-based applications and do sort of simple, lightweight things can pick up this tool and without having to rely on IT can crank out some applications to improve their efficiency. So I think it's a great tool just to drive efficiency and get the apps that you want into your hand.
Okay, thank you, Martin, Ian. Then we got a question from Shul. Are apps already installed on the device? And what about the installation store? Or what about the Apple Store? Question from Shul.
Yeah. So I don't think you saw it. You might very, very quick in the demo when I was doing the demo. There's actually an Oracle Macs app, and anybody on the call today can download the Macs app from either Apple Store or Google Play. So when you saw me doing the QR code, I was within that app. So what happens at the moment is the app downloads within the Macs container. Now, quite soon, what you'll be able to do is rather than deploy within the Macs container, is separately take either the actual app itself, be it an IPA file or an APK file, then take it through the Apple Store and deploy it like a normal app for Apple's benefit or for Google. Okay, but at the moment, as you saw, there's actually a Macs app that sits on your iPhone or your Samsung device or whatever.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Then I think that's one related to your small demo, the Manchester Airport Group. In the Manchester Airport Group, why would passengers have the app in the first place to detect the beacons?
Yes, that's a great question. Well, obviously, Manchester are providing a ton more functionality within their mobile app, including things like being able to not only just book parking, but actually find your car, be able to navigate to the right place within the terminal, and check departures and where you're, which gate you're meant to be getting on, and so on. So there's a ton of great functionality within their app. To encourage users to download the app and turn on location services, in the next release, we'll be offering a free fast track through security so that the user gets some sort of benefit and advantage of having the mobile app immediately. And in the future, we see that, downloading of the actual mobile app will not be required, that as more and more functionality is available through things like the messaging apps, we won't actually need to have the app installed, that we'll be able to do more and more of this type of capability through Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp.
Okay. Then another one has coming up. That one is from Jan. What's the most common mobile app to enterprise customers to start with?
I think maybe we'll do this between both me and Ian. One thing we see is that there isn't any right place to start. We see some people going straight into kind of the customer-facing apps, whereas other people think that, let's start with employee apps first. But if anything, the one thing that we always get reaction to, we always show a kind of a catalogue of demo apps that we have. The most common app that people seem to like or want to start with is self-service for employees. And I think everybody themselves can see the benefit of being able to do time cards or expenses or approvals themselves. So while we might show fantastic beacons demos that we've done today, when we show the employee dashboard, one place where an employee can access all the back-end systems. And I think key to that is often not just, a single ERP system like your business suite. It's about having a composite of access all focused around the employee. That's the one that most people most commonly gravitate to and say, I've got to have that. And so that's the one I would say, but I don't think there's a final rule, but that's the one we get the most reaction back. Ian, would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely think we get great feedback on that area. I think it just depends business to business. Some customers, their core function is around field service and, servicing customers, then, they would focus on that. Some customers are have like huge teams of salespeople out in the field, and, that's where they focus. Some customers, it's all about, the brand and getting that consumer experience and focusing on their customer application and enhancing that. So it very much depends as to the function and nature of the business.
Okay, thank you, Ian, Martin. In the interest of time, we have time for 2 additional questions. So if you have your questions, please ask them in the chat module. And we have another question from Shu, and he's on the why should I choose for Max instead of Apex?
Okay, so this is quite an interesting question because obviously Oracle has quite a wide portfolio. Rather than say Max versus Apex, I would say, why would you use Mobile Cloud Service in addition to Apex? So Mobile Cloud Service is Oracle's main mobile strategic platform, but clearly, obviously, there is mobile capabilities with Apex. I think the thing is, there are things you can do with Apex, and it's cheap and easy, but it's limited. Max is the more sophisticated platform for doing things like we've shown you today, with location and push notifications. So you can do more with MCS than you'll ever be able to do with Apex. and we invest more in the kind of mobile aspects of that. Now, Max is simply the creative citizen developer tool that goes with MCS. So, Jules, rather than sort of saying why MCS instead of Apex, it's the case of, I can use Apex for certain limited apps. At some point, I'm going to have to move from mobile cloud service to move to more sophisticated solutions. In the way that you can do JavaScript development with Apex, you can do JavaScript development with MCS. But in addition with MCS, you've also got this no-code rapid app development with Max as well. So it's a very good question. Lots of our partners particularly are keen to ask that question. And I guess as Rene said, if you want more follow-up from this, contact Rene and we'll set up a workshop with you to go through these options and let you know what's available from the wider Oracle portfolio.
Okay, then we go for the last question and a short answer, please, Martin, Ian. For the beacons custom example, what's the range of the beacons and why do passengers have Bluetooth on?
Well, I think we're seeing Bluetooth being adopted more and more within the industry. Just, Apple taking out the head jack and now launching AirPods. I think 50% of all headsets sold are Bluetooth enabled. So, people are using Bluetooth for other things. In terms of the beacon ranges, standard beacons tend to have a range of between sort of 20 and 30 meters. You get to control the range. I know that Estimote have launched a new beacon which has a range of over 300 meters. So they have longer ranges as well, but I think for standard beacon it's around up to about 30 meters without too much interference.
Okay. Thank you very much. This concludes the webcast for today. Be sure that you will also see our next webcast, which is scheduled for the 15th of September at 4 o'clock. We'll be more than happy to see you there. Thank you very much and see you on Thursday. By the way, sorry, it's 3 o'clock, my error. 3 o'clock. And thank you all and see you then. Bye-bye.